Welcome everyone. I'm Staff Sergeant Ryan Brewer. This is Staff Sergeant Kevin Paul, and we are the creators of MilitaryTrumpetJobs.com. Today we're joined by the trumpet section leader of the United States Army Field Band, Master Sergeant Ward Yeager. How are you today, Ward?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Excellent.
So we know you have a vacancy coming up with the concert band. Can you tell us about where the job is located, the mission, and what kind of player you're looking for?
Sure. So the Army Field Band is located at Fort Meade, Maryland, which is about halfway between Baltimore and DC, that area. The Army Field Band's mission is to connect the American people with the U.S. Army. We share the Army story through our touring missions, where we do live concerts. We're usually on the road 75 to 100 days each year. We also have a large online presence through social media, as well as our virtual concert series where you can check out concerts there. We do educational outreach, veterans homes, some ceremonial support, just a smattering of things to support the Army and connect with people. For this job, or for this hire, obviously in any position you want somebody that has a great sound, great phrasing and musicianship, great technique. That's a given. For this particular job, we're looking for somebody that's kind of in the crossover realm, who has a strong foundation in classical trumpet playing, but also has commercial lead experience or ability. We're a section of 6 players, so everybody plays in a brass quintet, and so you have to be able to play chamber classical music on a regular basis. You have to be able to flip over, and we put the full concert band together, and we need someone that can match that symphonic sound that we want to put out, especially if we're in unison lines for things like Fanfare for the Common Man or the opening to Summon the Hero, like that. But on the flip side, we do a lot of commercial music, and we're looking for somebody that can sit in that commercial first trumpet role and really bring the right type of sizzle and the power and the approach you want to hear and that you need to hear in that type of a role, that will add a lot to what the ensemble sound and what's going on with the group.
One of the questions I've gotten from some people now that I'm thinking about it is, for this specific spot, what's the ratio someone would play, say, commercial lead in a concert opposed to classical?
Well, I think a lot of that depends on the exact program that we're dealing with on that show, and that kind of goes with each tour. So when I know we take anywhere from 2 to 4 programs on the road. So when I get the list of the programs and I start trying to figure out what's the rotation going to work, what's going to show off the strengths of the section the best. There's a lot of variety of factors that go into play, but you might find yourself on show 1 maybe playing section cornet or section trumpet parts. Maybe if you're also playing lead, maybe jumping up and playing a couple of lead things. And then on the other show, you might find yourself playing first trumpet or maybe first cornet, and also then covering some of the commercial stuff. So it really depends, program by program, what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool.
And another thing, it's always good to just look at the audition list to figure out what type of player a group's looking for. I know in the past we always try to put together a list that is representative of what we want the player to sound like, that comes through the music. But that's always a good thing to do, is to look at the audition list if you're trying to figure out what type of player any job is looking for. Would you please now describe what the job entails for a new hire?
Sure. So
like a day-to-day basis type of thing under normal circumstances.
Sure. Well, I think the first thing to start is just to say your first 3 to 6 months in the job, you basically, I think, have like 3 responsibilities. The first one is you're getting your chops back, because it's a little counterintuitive in a way, you think, because you win the job and the next thing you do is you spend 2.5 months in basic training. where you don't play the trumpet. But obviously that's, it's a part of the process we are all active duty soldiers, and all of us, that's part of it. You go there. So your first role is to get your chops back. And most people find within a month or so that they're pretty much back to fighting weight. The second thing is I think just getting yourself immersed back into this life change. You know, you moved to this area, you may need to buy a car, need to get a house, you may have a family you have to think about. So there are lots of things going on in your personal life that you got to deal with. And then the third thing, of course, is just understand what the job is like in the day-to-day activities and understanding. And you know, most of your day-to-day activities are going to be, you know, rehearsals, either full concert band rehearsals in the morning, and then maybe an afternoon quintet rehearsal. And that's going to primarily be your focus. You may find in that six months period also is a great chance to take a look and see what else is going on in the unit, because most everyone has some sort of secondary responsibilities that we pick up. So you might find out, oh, I really could be helpful with this. I have a skill set that would help that, or in any variety of things from a production standpoint to educational outreach. There are lots of different ways to assist, but your main goal in those first few months is just to kind of get yourself settled and in the playing zone again.
Mm-hmm. Rick, do you have any advice for a candidate who's looking to put together a good digital or video recording for an audition?
Sure. I mean, I think, you know, all three of us have sat on the auditioner side of the panel now. And I think, you know, we all hear, when we've talked about all this, all three of us have before, that everybody we feel knows, yes, you have to prepare the music and the excerpts, and people do. One aspect that we always have to harp on is the recording aspect of it, and how you really have to practice and prepare that as well, because you want to make sure that you are picking an appropriate space and an appropriate setup that showcases and gives the most accurate and best representation of your playing possible. Too many times, you know, I mean, all three of us have sat on the same panel before and listened to tapes, and people come in and it sounds like the mic is right up in their bell and it's muffled, you can't really hear them. Or maybe they're setting up their mic and they're maybe 65 feet away and it sounds like they're in a cathedral, and you lose the clarity of the articulation and the sound that you want to hear. So you have to practice that and find what works best for you, and maybe let others that you respect and admire, your teacher or whoever else, to take a listen and say, that's the sound. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but you know, if somebody's recording, if the quality's bad, if they're right in the bell, or if they're in a cathedral and it's all muddy, I mean, it kind of makes me question their ear, because they're telling me by sending it to me that they thought this sounded great, and it makes me question their like judgment too. So it's already off on the wrong foot if the recording quality is weird.
It's your business card. It should be something you should feel get your best possible foot forward. It's the best version of you. Yeah.
And I think that the other thing, and particularly if I'm hearing somebody play in like a large cathedral or something, it unfortunately also makes me start to wonder, are you trying to hide some of the things that maybe you don't do as well by doing things? So like it starts, and maybe that's not what you intend for it to be, but I have to start questioning a lot of different reasons. Why would you do that when I can't hear very clearly what you're doing? Was that on purpose? So yeah, it's just something you have to practice.
So what specific recommendations would you make for somebody who's trying to do this? Like, you know, have the recording device 10 feet away, in a not overly dry or wet space. Is that basically what we're thinking?
I would think so. I mean, you know, start at 10 feet, and like you said, I'm sure a lot of it depends on the space that you're able to use, but and record yourself playing a few different types of things, something really loud, something soft, something with a lot of articulation, and then go back and listen and say, okay, this isn't really working for whatever reasons. Try something a little different. There are countless other people that you can probably talk to. You could even talk, maybe if you have to, hire a professional recording engineer to help you. But a lot of people, particularly right now, as so many people have been at home and just working on their own and dealing with technology, have learned a lot. You could ask your friends that might know more about it than you do to get advice on how to get a good sound out of your recording project.
Sweet. Great. Well, before we leave, would you please remind our viewers about the audition timeline? So the pre-screen, and then, beyond that, maybe.
Sure. So our tapes are due for the pre-screen round on June 1st. And probably in the first week or so of June, the trumpet section will listen to all the tapes that we've gotten and narrow it down a list to the people that we'd like to hear again. Those people will be notified, and then over the next couple of months, there are Army aspects that they have to take care of before we can move to the next round. So they'll have time to try and get all that done at it's called MEPS, the Military Entrance and Processing Station, and just to make sure they are physically and mentally capable to take the job if they were offered a position in the Army. And then probably somewhere around late August, September 1st, we would be discussing with you how we're moving forward with the audition process. It is a little different this time because of the situation we're in, where we're looking at possibly a virtual round for the audition, but that's something we'll figure out as time goes on.
Great, good stuff. Well, we're really looking forward to spreading the word about this vacancy, and we're very excited to see who you end up hiring.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate the opportunity.
No, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Ward. Take care.
Take care. So Ryan and I recently made a video recordings of all the excerpts for the U.S. Army Field Band's pre-screening list. They're available at www.militarytrumpetjobs.com, the excerpt project. And we are super excited to release these.
Yes, we are. And please like, follow, subscribe to our content so you can be on the lookout for more excerpts anytime a new list comes out. We hope that these videos help all of you with your audition journeys. I know Kevin and I have both been in the position of having to take auditions, and it's tough and tedious, and it's like kind of soul searching, but we don't want any of you to make the same mistakes that we did along the way.
Yeah, I mean, if you have any questions or anything that you want to know about, like military bands, please reach out to us, PM us, email us. Yeah, that's all we have for you today. Huge thank you to Master Sergeant Ward Yeager from the United States Army Field Band for talking to us and talking to you all today. Happy practicing.